Okay, so welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. My thought for you today is on being bored. That's what we're going to do. We're going to actively try and be bored together. And the thought, of this is not the boredom itself. It's not really a concept of boredom itself, but it's having the space that's in between the highs and the lows, right? Because this is what we're often told, is that what we do, what our mind does, is it reaches for those extremes, either things that are very exciting or things that are very terrifying. And it reaches for those extremes to give kind of reference and definition to your day or to your life, right? Is those big extremes or those big, pinnacle moments. And the space in between gets completely lost, right? It's like we're not even there. And we remember things even in reference to those big extremes. So when we're bored, what's happening, right? We're in that middle space where nothing in particular is forcing a reaction. Nothing in particular is drawing us forward. Nothing in particular is engaging us. And we think, run away from that, right? I'd like to feel engaged from something outside. But that place of boredom is the perfect place to start going inside, because it's in that in-between space that the peace actually is present. And it's in that space in between that we're actually living, right? We don't live in the pinnacle moments. We live in that space in between. So being bored is this opportunity to watch what you're like when you're not reacting, right? Because we think that's impossible to do, but it's not. We're doing it all the time. We're just not paying attention because we're waiting for the next pinnacle thing, right? So this is my suggestion, is to let yourself be bored. And by bored, it's looking underneath that layer of reaction and feeling what it's like just to be here without looking for anything else. So find your comfortable seat, let your eyes close for a moment. And this was all sparked because this morning my daughter announced to me that she's ready to celebrate Easter. She's now ready to celebrate Easter. I said, okay, great. You've got a month to go at least. But that feeling, right? I'm ready for the next big thing. And that's the way of the mind's escaping from this being in the middle, of this being in this place that is neutral or this place that is quiet. But every spiritual tradition tells us that this middle place is the place that we're seeking. So what happens when you're bored? Feel your breath get a little deeper. Again, relaxing into the presence of right now, taking it in, the background of it, the subtle noises, the subtle smells, the subtle feelings. And can you just notice what is right now? And don't look for anything else. It's not our habit, so if it feels foreign, it's not just you. But this is what you're seeking, a place where the mind is bored, not reaching for anything, not reacting. Feel your breath in the back of your body. Feel your seat get heavy and relax into your seat. So don't sit up well, just sit. And prepare to be bored. No reaction. No reaching for the highs and the lows. In spiritual terms, we call this the middle way. Not defined by the big ups and the big downs, but by that endless place in between that is steady. Letting the eyes remain closed, bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. So internally focus the space between the eyebrows. Chant the sound of Om 3 times. Deep breath in. Om. Deep breath in. Still attention at the third eye. Deep breath in. The eyes float open, releasing the internal focus, releasing the hands. Nice job. Come forward to hands and knees. Oh no, I felt like 3 ohms today. Do a little bit of cat and cow, just move your spine. Don't make a big deal out of it, just move your spine. Right? Sometimes we make a big deal out of everything. Good. Nice. Again, the habit is singular om because we feel like it's that, subtle kind of nod to the internal world. What happens when you go back again and again and again to the same thing? You go back again and again and again, not out of a sense of just mindless repetition, but you go back to it with a desire to truly understand it. So every time you om, are you just making a sound, or are you connecting to a reality that is om? A meaning that is om? Every time you do cat-cow, are you just moving in a repetitive way, or are you connecting to the movement of your inhale and stretching the spine, and your exhale and stretching your spine? Right? This is the essence of practice, and it is boring. It's boring, and it's also the most exciting thing that you can do, because in its simplicity, you can discover so much. Not because it's drawing you out, but because it's drawing you in. The mind ignores that a lot of the time because it wants to run to what feels exciting. So prepare yourself to do the opposite. Be bored. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog, just for a breath. Good. And then start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. Come to a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Good. And then bend your knees, wrap your arms around the backs of your thighs, hug, dropping your head towards your chest, chin towards your chest. Good. Squeeze the legs, press your inner knees a little bit wider, root down through the big toe mounds of your feet, and then scoop the belly. So you're pulling the belly away from your thighs, getting into the roundness of your lower back. Good. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Yes, nice, Harriet. And then start to press your hips up towards the sky, press your heels down into the floor, straighten the legs any amount, keep the inner knees pressing wide. Good. And keep yourself hugged in, shoulders away from your ears. Nice. Beautiful. And then release the hands down to the floor, hang still with the upper body. Let the legs come all the way to straight, pressing through the heels and up through the sacrum at the same time. Good. So the knees are not locking back, but you're pulling the legs long. Good. And then start to roll up the spine one vertebra at a time. Let your head hang for as long as you can. Again, if the neck needs some support, you lift through the back of your throat, but let your head hang as much as it can. Good. And find yourself all the way to standing and bring hands together in front of the heart center. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, come up halfway, hands to blocks or shins. Exhale, bow deeply again, navel to spine, same long legs. Step your right leg back behind you, drop the knee, arms to the sky, Anjanayasana. So we're doing sun salutes, not a surprise, right? Good, deep breath in. Let your pelvis move forward. Again, don't make a big deal out of it. Good, release the hands down to the floor, please. Lift the back knee, step back to plank pose, find an inhale. Lower down to your belly with an exhale. You can come through the knees if you'd like. Inhale, rise up, Cobra. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. The idea is to really stay connected to your breath and the movement. Right foot steps forward on an inhale. Left foot steps forward on your exhale. Straighten the legs, forward fold. Good, all one exhale. Inhale, the arms around and up, come to stand. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good, inhale, take the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, halfway. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky, Anjanayasana. As long as you are breathing, inhaling, you're pulling into the pose. So hips forward, chest up. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back to plank, inhale. Good, lower down to your belly, exhale. Good, rise up, Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, left foot steps forward on an inhale. Right foot steps forward, exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale, stretch the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow deeply. Navel stays in. Step the right leg back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Again, it's a long breath. You want your breath to get long with these positions. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank. Find your inhale. Lower down to your belly, exhale. Rise up, Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. At any point, you can translate that back into a child's pose if it needs to be. Right foot steps forward, inhale. Left foot steps forward, standing forward fold. That's the exhale. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale, take the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Come up halfway, inhale. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good, deep breath. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Lift the knee, step back plank. It's not about having perfect positions every single time. Lower down, exhale. It's about finding connection to breath. Inhale, lift into Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. That doesn't mean ignore your form, but don't get caught up in it. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot steps forward, exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Good. Inhale, take the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow deeply. Good. Right leg steps back. Drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Lift your heart as high as you can. Let your pelvis go forward. Release the hands to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank. Find your inhale. Lower down to the floor, exhale. Rise up, Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Modify as you need, but stay with your breath. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot steps forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Full breath. Let yourself descend through the pelvis. Good. Release the hands to the floor. Lift the back knee. Plank pose. Inhale. Lower down to your belly. Exhale. Rise up, Cobra. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Exhale into your forward fold. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Nice. Inhale, the arms around and up. Will it ever end? Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back, drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Deep breath. Release the hands, step back, plank pose. Find your inhale. Lower down to your belly, exhale. Rise up, Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Don't look for the next pose. Just be in the one that you're in. Right foot steps forward. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward fold. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Nice. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back, drop the knee, arms up. Good. Connect to the breath in the position. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank. Lower down to your belly, exhale. Rise up, Cobra. Inhale, again, modifying as necessary. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. Only an hour to go. Exhale, bow forward. Just kidding. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Be in the full pose, full breath. Release the hands to the floor. Step back plank pose. Find your inhale. Lower down to your belly. Exhale. Rise up, Cobra. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. The poses don't matter. The breath matters. Right foot steps forward. Inhale. Left foot steps forward. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold deeply. Step your left leg back behind you. Drop the knee, arms to the sky. Good. Release the hands down. Step back plank. Find your inhale. Lower down, slow exhale. Rise up, Cobra. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Pause. Feel your heartbeat. And feel your breath. And feel the moment that you're in. Secret to sun salutes is that you are linking the breath with the physical body, with the energetic body. So it's not the repetition that matters, although it will create increasing flexibility, increasing strength if you do it repetitively. But to do it repetitively without meaning is boring. To do it continuously with full attention is meditation. Separate your feet nice and wide. Turn your toes out 45 degrees. Come down for squat. Good. If squatting at this point does not make any sense to you, you can place a block underneath your seat, blanket underneath your heels. Good. Elbows to those inner knees, press wide, chest up. So push through the top of your head, draw your low belly in, and then really try and send your tail down towards the floor and relax. I know I just told you to work, but relax. Shoulders wide. Good. Nice, you guys. Then hands to the floor, take your legs back to straight, turn your toes forward. Keep your feet as wide as your mat, just turn your toes forward. Then take your right hand to your left ankle. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good, or hand to the lower back, that's perfect, Kristen. Nice, draw your head back, draw the back of your heart back in space. Good, nice, you guys. Widen those inner knees, inner thighs. Yeah, so good, Allison. Just watch that right knee doesn't buckle. Allison S. Beautiful. Release and switch, please. Come back to center. And then reaching your, left hand to your right ankle. Right arm comes to the sky. Good. Watch if your weight is falling backwards, that you start to bring your weight towards the balls of your feet. So your hips move forward, but your throat moves back. The back of your heart falls back in space. Good, Harriet. Nice. And then release that hand, please. Come back to center. Nice job. Heel toe your feet a little closer. Step back to downward facing dog, assuming that you don't have a dog in your way on your mat. Awesome. Right leg comes up and back behind you. Down dog split. Bend the knee, take your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. Nice, you guys. And then point that knee back to the floor, step the right foot between the hands, lunge. Drop your back heel, baby toe parallels the back of your mat, come into warrior two. So cute. Dog lays down on your yoga mat and we just move off of the mat. Absolutely. It's fine. Dog can have the mat. Good, you guys. Drop the left hand down the back thigh, right palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Beautiful. Come back up to center, please. Arms wide. Good. Straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes same direction as your left. So you're coming to wide legs facing the long edge of your mat. Reach behind you to either interlace your fingers at your low spine or come into reverse prayer. So palms together, fingers pointing up between your shoulder blades. So those are the options. Deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Yep. Taking the arms up and over any amount. If you are interlacing the fingers, if your hands are in reverse prayer, keep them there. And keep your chest open. So keep widening those front of your armpits, front of your arm bones wide. Nice, you guys. Good. One more breath. Lift and open the chest a little bit more, drawing the navel in towards the spine as you do that. And then exhaling, releasing the head, releasing the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Turn your right toes out to 45 degrees. Bend that knee. So keep your hands center. Just turn your right toes out 45 degrees. So not all the way to the top of your mat, just halfway. Good. Bend your right knee. So you're sliding into like a side lunge. Your knee is pointing towards second or third toe, and you're pulling that left inner thigh wide at the same time. You got it, Joanne. You're right. Good. Just want you to feel, right, that you're staying pretty much center. You're just shifting your weight slightly to the right into that lunge. Good. Come back to center, please. Turn your right toes forward. Turn your left toes out halfway. Bend the knee. Drop into that side lunge on the other side, keeping your torso center. So don't bring your chest with you. Keep it center. That's it. Good. Widen that inner knee just a little bit more, Sarah. That's it. And then come back to center, please. Turning both sets of toes forward. Take your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Heel toe your feet in maybe a step and then turn both feet out to 45 degrees. Come to a high squat. Good. Watching that your knees are able to come towards your ankles, but not beyond your ankles. If your knees are going beyond your ankles, separate your feet wider. Good. So the pelvis is able to descend as the thighs go wide, drawing the inner knees wide. Awesome. And then start to bring the chest up, shoulders up, arms wide, letter T. Cross your right arm over top of your left in front of your chest for eagle. So wrapping forearms. Good. Draw your lower armpits back and wide. So it's like you're pulling your armpits towards the center of your back. Good. Nice, you guys. And then straighten the legs, stretch the arms back out wide. Nice job. Turn your right toes back towards the top of your mat. Turn your left toes in so that they parallel the back of your mat. Widen your stance again if it's become too short. Good. Trikonasana. So both legs stay straight. Reach out through that right rib cage. So extend forward towards the top of your mat. Reach. And then let that right hand touch down front leg, floor, or block. Left arm comes to the sky. Good. Trikonasana. Nice. And again, as though you are trying to find a wall behind you. So you're not literally finding a wall, but imagine, right? So you're drawing your shoulders back to try and find this imaginary wall behind you. So it's a reminder to keep stacking the rib cage. Good. And to resist that desire to fall forward, instead, start to elongate yourself backwards. Nice. The middle place between extremes. So can you be in this pose, but don't get extreme? Nice. Good. Bend the right knee again, please. Cartwheel the arms back up to warrior two. Beautiful. And then straighten that front thigh. Turn your right toes forward, same direction as your left. Actually, let's do it this way instead. Turn both feet back out to 45 degrees. Come back to that high squat. Good. Nice. And then take your arms out wide. Once again, you found the widening of the inner knees, making sure your knees are not beyond your ankles. So Sarah, you got to take your feet wider. There you go. Good. Left arm crosses over top of right in front of your chest. So you're wrapping the arms for eagle the other side. There you go. Yeah. So even if you're not on the same side as what I said, that's fine. Just make sure that you put the other arm on top. Good. And again, scoop your low belly. So your navel here has to be really involved in helping to keep your spine erect. Good. Keep your shoulders on top of your hips. Nice, you guys. And then straighten the legs, stretch the arms all the way out. Good job. Turn your toes, both sets of toes facing forward again. So you're back to that wide-legged stance with your feet paralleling the short edges of your mat. So wide stance. Reach back behind you, interlace fingers again, or come into reverse prayer. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward, taking the arms up and over if you'd like. If you're interlacing your fingers, keeping your hands where they are if you're in reverse prayer. Good. I challenge you to completely understand a yoga asana before you try and move on to the next one. Right? This is part of what practice is we go back to the same things over and over again, not to be repetitive, but to increase understanding. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Right toes turn forward. Spin your left heel up. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Vinyasa, if you choose, child's pose, or hang out in dog if you'd like. If you prefer. If you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank with your breath, lowering down, exhaling to your belly, rising up cobra or upward facing dog, inhaling, and then exhaling, coming back to downward facing dog. Nice. Find downward facing dog again if you're in child's pose. Good. And then as you're ready, left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right. Open. And as you open that left side, keep your right heel squeezing in towards your midline and your right inner knee pushing slightly wide. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep your right armpit really lifted, Joanne and Allison and Lisa and Chris. Everybody lift your right armpit. There you go. Point that knee back down to the floor. Step your left foot between the hands, lunge. Good. Back heel comes flat, baby toe parallels back of your mat. Take the arms up to warrior two. Good. Shoulders on top of the hips. Widening that front knee. So again, it's pointing towards the second or third toe. So we wonder, right? How do we get the wideness of the pelvis while we orient the knee, right, into an open position? Good. But if we start out saying your pelvis should look like this, your ribs should look like that, your mind is looking for whether it's doing it right or wrong, those extremes. You miss just being here. So just widen your knee and breathe into your ribs. And then take that right hand down the back thigh and the left palm up, come into reverse warrior and breathe into yourself this way. It's a funny thing when you realize you've been meditating for a while that meditation is actually really boring. The act of doing nothing. Come back up to center, please. But that's also what opens up the space to feel everything. Straighten your left leg. Turn your toes same direction as your right, so you come back to that wide-legged stance. Good. Everybody this time reach back behind you, interlace your fingers, deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward, taking the arms up and over any amount. Good. Feeling that you're taking your armpits up towards your ears, so not just your shoulders, but your armpits are extending up towards your ears. Good. And then you're lifting your chest and rolling those shoulder blades down and in. Call that piercing the back of the heart. Good. Nice, Mark. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Awesome. Right hand reaches for left ankle. If reaching the ankle really doesn't work here, you can keep that hand on the floor or a block. But if you can have it a little bit to the left of center, then that's great. Good. Left arm comes to the sky or to your lower back. Optional here, you can just hang out in the twist. If you would like to add some breath of fire, begin to pump your navel, bringing the inhale and the exhale through the nose. Again, don't do it to be extreme. Hold your form well. Let it be like a massage for the lower back in this position, not a stress for the lower back. Let your neck be at the angle it needs to be at for your head to feel free. Good. Deep breath in if you're doing that breath of fire, pause and hold. Exhale, release everything, come back to center, hang. If hanging doesn't feel great, you can even walk the hands forward into a wide-legged downward facing dog. Nice. The practice of being right where you are without wishing for something else. Even if right now is boring, nothing is happening. Everything is happening. That's what we're told. We just aren't looking for it. Good. We aren't noticing. Walk yourself back in. Good. Twist to the other side. So left hand to your right ankle, right arm to the sky. And if that's not the opposite side for you, just make sure you're doing the opposite side. Again, hand can be at the lower back if you choose, or arm extended up towards the sky. Optional, breath of fire. Begin to pump the navel. Good. Make sure it is your navel that is moving the breath, not your nostrils. So it's the belly pulling in and out, in and out, in and out that moves the breath. If it's happening from your nostrils, stay with the long, deep breathing. Good. Not looking for extremes, but just to be able to feel. Awesome. Deep breath in if you're doing breath of fire. Pause and hold. Exhale, release everything down. Nice job. Good. Turn your right toes out to 45 degrees. Bend your knee, come into that side lunge again, keeping your chest center. Optional if you're coming a little deeper into that side lunge and you'd like to come up on your left heel, so the straight leg, you can turn the toes up towards the ceiling. Send those inner thighs by Anju. Send those inner thighs forward but down and start to lift the chest a little higher so you're coming more vertical with your spine. If you know you can take one arm or both off of the floor in this position, you're welcome to do it. If you have to lift your right heel to make that happen, stay where you are, where your right foot can be flat. Awesome. And then release, come all the way back to center, both legs straight. Turn the right toes back to parallel. Turn your left toes out to 45 degrees. And then bend the knee, come into the side lunge. On the other side, don't bring your torso with you. Stay as center as you can. I know, because this is what causes you to actually have to really work the inner thigh and get some stretch through the groin. Good. Optional, take that your right toes up towards the ceiling. So you're rotating the thigh, you're rotating the leg. Good. Sending your butt down and under, chest up, shoulders up. And if you know that you can be in this position, dropping the pelvis low and taking one arm or both up to the sky, feel free to go there. Nice, Allison. Hey, nice, Joanne. Look at you. Good, Lisa. Nice, Laura. Good, Harriet. Good, everybody. Nice, Mark. Good. Release the hands back to the floor, straighten the legs, turning the toes forward. Nice job, you guys. Good. Bring your hands to your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Left toes turn back to the front of your mat. Right toes stay where they are. Stretch your arms out wide, letter T. Trikonasana, both legs stay straight. Good. Reach through your left side body, extend, and then let that left hand come down to touch the front leg floor or block, right arm to the sky. Nice. Keep pulling up through your pelvis. So it's like you are pushing your hips up to the sky to help straighten your legs. Nice, you guys. Letting the chin fall towards the chest just a little bit more so that you are opening through your chest, but not attempting to open by craning the neck. Fall back towards that imaginary wall behind you. Nice, Allison. Good, Kristen. Good, both Allisons. Beautiful. Bend that front knee again, please. Cartwheel the arms back up to warrior two. Nice. And then straighten that front thigh. Good. Turn both feet out to 45 degrees. Again, if you need to heel toe your feet a little bit closer, let them come a little bit closer. And then both feet come out 45 degrees. Come into that high squat. Good. Stretching the arms up to the sky. Interlace your fingers. Heels of the hands push up. Yeah, press out through the baby fingers. Good. Pull your ribs in. Pull your low belly in. Squeeze and lift your pelvic floor. You're like, what does that mean? It means squeeze everything internal. Draw your ribs in. Come up on the balls of your feet. Still squeezing internally. Drop your thighs wider. Yes. Pull up through your ribs, but drop your thighs wider. Nice, Lauren. Good. Let your heels press down to the floor. Nice. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes forward. Release the hands to the floor. Forward fold. Legs are going to be so excited later. Good. Walk back towards the top of your mat. Left toes turn forward. Right heel spins up. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Vinyasa if you'd like, or child's pose, or hang out in dog. If you're doing the vinyasa, come forward to plank, lower down to your belly. Rise up cobra or upward facing dog. Good, pressing back. Everybody, child's pose, why not? You're welcome. Even if you didn't think that you needed a child's pose, take one. So being in that in-between space. We're not reaching for our reactions, but we're allowing impression, we're allowing information to flow through us. This is what he said, the senses, this is what they are intended to do. In the background of our lives, all of those hidden awarenesses that our mind is just not paying attention to, as it said that this is what enlightenment is being fully present for that background of what happens behind the highs and the lows. So we're actually asked to be bored. Right? We're asked to go to that state of mind where we're not in reaction. And we say, well, that's impossible. But you're actually in that state of mind all the time. You're just so busy looking at the highs and the lows that you miss the point in between. You miss that your breath is happening. You miss that the sensations of the body are there, present, currently, always. So be bored. Let your mind go into that state of not looking for anything except what's here. And walk yourself back up, please. Good, downward facing dog. Right leg comes up and back, down, dog split. Good, bring that knee forward and wide for pigeon pose, right knee towards your right wrist. Good, letting the shin cross at whatever angle makes the most sense towards the opposite hip crease. Rotating, sending that left hip slightly forward, widening your right hip point wider to the right. Nice. And then once you've set your pelvis, walk yourself straight ahead, coming onto your forearms, blocks, hands, whatever you need. Good. Nice, you guys. Kind of think of it this way. And if you have meditated regularly for any length of time, you know that there are those days where you're just bored doing it. Your mind's like, I'd like to be doing anything else except this. And that's exactly what we're meant to come up against, is that feeling of the mind just wants to get away from what is still and quiet. Because it's not that the still and quiet is what bothers it, but because there's that tendency is I want to look for something stimulating. I want to look for something that's going to draw me out. So yoga has been designed to draw you in. You need something to focus on. Here's a breathing technique. Here's a mantra. Here's a focal point. Here's something for your mind to chew on so that it will stay focused internally instead of externally. So it'll be focused here and now instead of somewhere in the future or the past. So it gets used to being bored, comfortable, not looking for anything except what's here, because there's plenty here. There's plenty here. So even the asana becomes the challenge of, can you understand it so completely, repeat it over and over again until you know the essence of it, the soul of it. Because if you know the soul completely, 100% of any asana, you know the soul of yourself, 100%. That too is meditation. Sounds pretty boring, right? Doing the same thing over and over again. Good. Walk yourself back up onto your elbows, please. Bend your back knee, take your heel in towards your butt. Reach back for the twisting quad stretch. So right hand reaching back for your left ankle. Good. So if reaching back while on your forearms does not work, come up onto your hand. And if that still doesn't work and you're just leaving out the quad stretch today, that's fine. Take a twist anyway. Bring your hand to your lower back and open the chest. Perfect. Keep drawing that outer left hip spinning forward. Nice. And then slowly release, please. Release that foot. Good. So Allison A, you might want to flip over so that you can come back to blah, blah, blah. Downward facing dog. So we'll do that just so we're all in the same place. So step back to down dog for a moment. Good. And then take your right foot forward again between the hands. I know, not my finest transition. Drop the back knee. Good. Move your left hip back so it's in line with your knee. Take your right leg forward to straight Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. Coming up on the heel or lifting the toes. Good. Set your pelvis the same way you would for pigeon. So that outer left hip, back hip spins forward. Right low belly draws in and wide. So you're hollowing first. You're pulling the low belly away from the thigh. And then you're trying to take that part of your hip bone, the front of your pelvis, draw it wide. Good. Nice, you guys. One more breath, sending your inner thighs back. Good. Sorry, I'm distracted by Kristen's talk. Walk your hands in, please. Good. Drag that right heel back into Anjanayasana. Good. Use a blanket underneath the back knee if you'd like, because we're going to go into option for a quad stretch. So if you need a cushion underneath that back knee, make sure you have it. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. And then any version of a quad stretch here. So as you bend that back knee, you can reach back with the same side hand. So left hand reaches back for the foot or the ankle. You can go for the twisting quad stretch. Right hand reaches back. You can reach back with both hands. Nice, Laura. Good. So find your version of a quad stretch here. Nice. You got to bring your hips forward, widen your lunge or lengthen your lunge a little bit more, Mark. Yes. So you bring your front foot further away from your back knee, and then you can let your pelvis go forward more. And that might give you a better feeling of balance for reaching back for the foot. There you go. Nice. Awesome, you guys. And then slowly release, please. Beautiful. Good. Take your left hip back on top of your left knee. Take your right leg back forward to Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. And this might be where you stay. Or start to draw that right heel forward more. Start to wiggle your left knee back more, any amount towards full Hanuman. Don't make a big deal out of it. It's the thing. As soon as you make a big deal out of it in your mind about, oh, Hanumanasana, because then you're not breathing in the pose anymore. Now you're in your head. So just breathe in the pose. You're just taking your legs a little wider apart. That's all. Same thing you were just doing. Good. Squeeze the front heel and the back heel towards each other, or the legs squeeze towards each other. Deep breath in, lift your chest. Don't be afraid to lift your chest. There you go. Don't be afraid to smile. You're allowed to not hate this pose. Good. Nice, Lisa. And then slowly release, please. Dragging that front heel back. Good. Downward facing dog. Do a little wiggling of the hips, maybe bending the knees and doing a little cat-cow. The thing is, we have to remind ourselves that you have permission to not be always in a state of like or dislike. Come back to stillness, please. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. And then come into pigeon pose on the second side. Left knee comes forward and wide towards your left wrist. Good. Sliding the right leg back, but directing the top of your right hip, your pelvic bone, slightly forward. So this is squaring the hips, squaring the pelvis. The right hip spins forward, left low belly and hip pulls wide. Good. And then walk yourself forward into your forward fold, either coming onto your elbows, forearms, blocks. Watching that as you come forward, you don't automatically shift towards that left thigh to take the sensation off of the right side of your pelvis, or even away from the left side. If you sink into the left hip, you're going to feel less than you would if you keep your pelvis really level. So watch that your mind doesn't run away from that. Good. So I'm reminded that, Krishna Das is not one of my gurus per se, but someone certainly who I enjoy listening to his experiences, and something that he said from his early days in India of being told to go to a Krishna temple and just chant. Not told for how long, Just they were doing continuous chanting and they were taking turns. And basically his guru would say, okay, it's your turn now, go chant. And you would just chant until you were told you were done. And he said it was so boring, right? That you chant and you chant and you chant, same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's not fun anymore. It's not work anymore. It's just going and going and going. And he says, thank God for the boredom. And because he was doing it because he had to, right? Because he was told to, and he trusted the person who told him to, so he continued. He says, thank God for that, because he had to do the practice for long enough continuously that something occurred. A shift happened. Internally, a shift happened. There's no idea if that ever would have happened if he was on his own, because we give up. We look for the highs and the lows. We're not habitually comfortable in that space in between. So can you think of yourself in those moments where there's nothing going on, you're bored? That's your perfect moment for meditation. Not to do a formal sit down, whatever, but for you to be in actual awareness. Walk your hands back up. Good. Bend that back knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, reach back, twisting quad stretch. So left hand reaches for the right ankle or foot. Again, you can be on the forearm or up on fingertips. Again, you can leave out the quad stretch if it doesn't make sense today. Just stay lifted and come into a little bit of a twist. You can keep that back leg on the ground, back foot on the ground. Good. Beautiful, Kristen. Nice. Nice, Harriet. And then slowly release, please, coming back to center. Good. Lifting that back knee. Take your left leg back and up to down dog split. This is how I really should have done it the first time. It's okay. And then step that left foot back between the hands, lunge. Good. Drop that right knee down to the floor. Move your right hip back on top of that knee. Left leg comes forward to straight. Ardha Hanumanasana. Come up on the left heel. Just half split. Again, don't get excited. Half Hanuman. Just hang out there. Good. Sending the inner thighs back and wide. Nice. It's a strange thing, right? To want your practice to have to be so continuous and repetitive that it takes you to a place that is beyond your mind, where it's no longer work, it's no longer fun. It's not a high, it's not a low. It's just something that is. It's funny that that's what we say we're seeking in a spiritual practice, but then when our mind starts to go in that direction, we run away from it. I want something exciting. I'm ready to celebrate Easter. Well, it's a month away. So what are you going to do till then? Celebrate right now. Breathe into right now. Good. Walk yourself back in, drag that right heel back. And again, you're coming into Anjanayasana with a quad stretch. So if you need a blanket underneath the back knee or to fold your mat over underneath that knee, make sure you have what feels good. And then bringing the pelvis forward, inhale the arms up to Anjanayasana. Good. And finding, again, your pelvis has to be in front of that back knee. If it's on top of it or behind, the quad stretch is basically impossible. So you have to have your lunge long enough that your pelvis can be in front of your back knee. Good. Bend the back knee, reach back, any version of the quad stretch. You can reach with the same hand, opposite hand for a twist, reach back with both hands if you'd like. Let your pelvis continue to move forward, lifting through the low belly. See if you can engage that pelvic floor again, internally, squeezing in and up. Good. Nice, both Allisons. Lisa and Lauren and Laura and Sarah and Joanne and Mark and Kristen. Who did I miss? Lauren, Harriet. Awesome. Release, please. Come all the way out. Shift your right hip back on top of that right knee. Take your left leg back to straight Ardha Hanumanasana. Pause there for a breath. And then start to move any amount into full Hanuman, extending that left heel a little bit further forward, tucking your back toes, sliding your right knee a little bit further back. Not letting your mind go into hysterics. Good. Okay, don't make a big deal. It's just a split pose. Don't make a big deal. It doesn't matter if it's what you think it should look like or not. It's just the relationship of your legs to your pelvis. Can you breathe into that feeling of stretch and say, thank God that I can stretch this much? Thank God that my body is okay here, happy here. Even not happy, but still capable. Don't look for anything else. Not more, not less. Good. And then slowly come all the way back out, squeezing the legs together. Really good, you guys. Good. Bring yourself back to downward facing dog. Good. And then drop down to your knees for a moment, child's pose. Awesome. And then walk your hands back in. So I'd like to bring you into frog, actual frog with the legs. So if you have a blanket or two that you would like for underneath your knees for that, feel free to grab that. Then we're going to start, come back to standing. Take the legs nice and wide back to that wide-legged stance. It doesn't matter which way you face. I guess it just depends on whether you want me to be looking at your face or your butt. So either way. Good. And then take your hands down to the floor, please. And so the tricky way of getting into this, right, is you got to bend your knees into almost like a wide-legged squat. And then you actually have to start to bring one knee down towards the floor, inner edge of the knee down towards the floor. Yep. And slide that heel so it's straight back behind the knee, and then bring the other knee down as well. Good. And again, if you need cushioning underneath those knees, make sure you have it. Good. So you're on the inner edges of the knees. Your heels should be straight back from your knees in this position. You got it. So you got to come forward like you're on your shins, Mark. Yep. And then you're turning your feet outward. So big toe mounds towards the floor. Yeah. Almost like you're doing squat, but facing the floor. Good. So your inner knees and inner shins are pressing into the floor. Knees are nice and wide. You got it. And then walk your hands forward. Good. So again, inner edges of the knees, inner edges of the shins should be flat to the floor. Nice. If you're still not sure what I'm talking about, look up at what Carolina's doing. Hopefully you can see. Good. And relax. Keep your feet flexed. You can have a little press into your knees so that there's a feeling of support for the pelvis, support for the groin as it opens. I would say that this is a pose that probably brings about some highs and lows in your mind. A pose that you can easily get very extreme. So try to find the way to be here without going extreme. Where you can be here without wishing it to be something different. Good, couple more breaths. Yes, if you need to come out sooner, make sure you respect what your knees are telling you, or your groins or any other part of you. Good. And then slowly, everybody start to walk your hands back in. Good. So as long as your butt can lift here, you can either wiggle the knees closer towards each other, or you can tuck your toes and sort of lift back into that straight-legged, wide-legged stance. It's the other option. Good. Nice, Allison. Beautiful. If you're in wide legs, walk yourself back in, walk towards the top of your mat. Turn your toes so you can come back to downward facing dog. If you're already on the floor, stay on the floor. Good. And then drop the knees to the floor, please. And come to sit, stretch your legs out in front of you. That was fun, right? Sure. I know, don't get into likes or dislikes, but you're allowed to admit if it was fun. All right, right leg is extended out in front of you. Please bend your left knee, bring it in towards your chest, cross your left foot over your right thigh, and then wrap your right arm around your left knee. Left hand comes back behind you. So spinal twist, you're twisting towards that bent knee. Good. As you draw that thigh in towards the center of your body, you draw your midline belly and chest up towards that thigh, creates that spiral on the spine. Beautiful. Good, and then slowly release, come back to center, please. Unwind the legs, go the other way. So left leg extends out in front of you, bend your right knee, bring it in towards the chest, cross it over the left thigh, wrapping the left arm around the right knee, twisting to the right. Good, and again, you're drawing that thigh on a diagonal across the midline of the body, and then you're drawing the midline of your body up towards that thigh. So again, creating that spiraling action. Nice. And then slowly release, come on out. Nice, unwind your legs, please. Good. Scoot yourself forward just a little bit more. Yeah, some of you are close to the back of your mat. I don't want you to be too close to the back of your mat. And then bending both knees, please. Touch your toes to the floor, balancing on your sit bones. So make sure that you don't have a rolled blanket underneath your seat. Come into boat pose, Navasana. So you can hold behind the thighs here if you'd like, or extend the arms. Good. And try and bring your feet the same width apart as your knees. So that might mean that you have to hug your knees in. It might also mean that you have to separate your feet. Good. And then lift your chest, lift your low belly. Good. Nice, you guys. Smile. There it is. Beautiful. And then release, please, stretching the legs straight out in front of you. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. And exhale, bow forward. Good. And then walk yourself back up again. Bend your knees, point your toes to the floor, come back to boat. Holding behind the thighs, lifting the chest. Lift your shins. Again, repeating, not to be repetitive, but to continue to deepen your relationship, your meaning to this position. To understand your connection to your abdominals, to your back, to your chest, to your legs. Your desire to escape yourself. Good. And then slowly release, extend the legs straight out in front of you. Inhale the arms up to the sky. And exhale, bow forward, Paschimottanasana. Good. And then last time, walk yourself up. Bend your knees again, toes to the floor, come back to boat. Good. Shins can be parallel to the floor, or you can always go for the straight leg option if that feels available to you. It's up to you. Good. Keep your chest lifted. Nice. Awesome. You're pulling both sides of the body equally long. Navel in, hollow that low place of your belly. Breathe. Good. Nice, Kristen. And then go ahead and release. Stretch the legs straight out in front of you. Don't lose it, Laura. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Fold forward, please. Forward fold. Good. And then slowly walk yourself back up. I would love very much if you are a headstander for you to come into headstand for a moment or two. So if you have wall space and you're capable of doing that, that would be great. If not, you can work headstand preparation if that feels good. So you can be on starting in forearm dog with the hands interlaced, walking the hips up and just practicing taking one leg up is also great. If neither of those options are going to work for you right now and you want to come onto your backs and place a block underneath your sacrum, another great option for just giving you a little bit of upside down time. Good. So again, headstand is my preference for you. Again, if you have the space and means to do it. Otherwise, working headstand preparation. Good. Just practicing walking the hips up. Nice. So you can do it two ways if you're working the preparation, is you can practice kicking if you'd like, or you can hold that preparation and just bring one knee in towards your chest and then place it back down and then take the other knee in, lifting your hips as high as you can so you're up on the tippy toes of the other foot. Good. Nice. So the whole point of practicing the preparation is to get comfortable bringing the hips as high up vertical on top of the shoulders as you can. Good. Nice, Laura. Just watch that you're not twisting through your pelvis. It looks like you're twisting. So you want to bring your left butt cheek towards the wall more. There you go. Good. Nice, you guys. And then as you feel complete with your upside down, gracefully bring yourself back down to the floor. If you're up in headstand, drawing the knees in towards your chest, navel to spine, don't collapse yourself. Good. Take a moment sitting either in child's pose or hips to your heels in Virasana. Nice. And then everyone's going to find their way onto their back. So as you are ready, find yourself onto your back. Good. Bend your knees, plant your feet. You're breathing in and out of bridge pose. So as you inhale, you're lifting your hips and stretching your arms up alongside your ears. Good. Until your hands find the floor above your head. So bring them all the way up and over. Good. And then as you exhale, you're releasing your hips down to the floor, releasing the arms back down. Good. And keep breathing with that. And Carolina, just watch you don't let your feet turn wide. There you go. Good. Move with your breath. Don't do just the action and have your breath be somewhere in there. Just really try and coordinate the breath with the movement. Right? Said that if we really comprehended even just a single breath and we were 100% just present for it, that's everything that we're seeking. And we spend hours and hours and hours trying to achieve. So we're trying to find the background. So all of your techniques, meditation and practice is to help you become increasingly aware of the background. Not the highs and the lows, but all of the space in between, because that's where you really live. That's where your life is really happening. So we return over and over again to the same practices because it deepens that awareness. But if that's not why we're doing it, we think that we're just by repeating things, we're going to somehow get better, quote unquote. It's going to take a long time. You're not building skills with your practice so much as you are building awareness and the ability to be comfortable being in that state of non-reaction, boredom. Although I should say that when we call it boredom, that itself is kind of a reaction, isn't it? Good. Next time your hips come back down to the floor, let them stay. Then bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let your knees drop wide into Baddha Konasana. You can bring the arms overhead to hold opposite elbows if you'd like, or bring your hands to your belly. If you have something more exciting you want to do with your arms, go for it. To observe yourself, how much do you want to run away from this moment? And is it because you think the next one will be more exciting? You waiting for something to give you reference, a reaction to give you reference that this is who I am. Bring your attention inward to the background of your breath, the background of all of that thinking. You can turn your attention inward and simply maintain consistent awareness inward. And we become more comfortable in the still and the quiet. And the rest takes care of itself. It's nothing you need to run away from, cut away from yourself, throw away from yourself. The end of your next breath, bring the knees back towards each other. Hug the knees in towards the chest. And start to circle the knees either direction you'd like. They can both go together in the same direction. They can go separate in opposite directions, whatever you want. And again, finding the feeling of massaging the lower back. And then move your knees in the other direction. Good. And then coming back to stillness, please, knees in towards the chest, scoot your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right, spinal twist. And bring yourself back to center, scoot your hips over to the left, to the right, drop your knees to the left. And then bring yourself back to center again. Squeeze the knees, bring your forehead up to meet your knees, hug. Good. And then slowly release, extending the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms facing up. Finding yourself just falling into the background. And breath, the only thing that reminds you that you are here and now. And very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. And let your body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And then draw the knees in towards your chest and roll to the right side. And take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. One last moment to feel yourself just here and now, and maybe to have the full absorption of here and now, how much is actually happening. Because if we're extending ourselves to that inner experience of what actually is happening, then there's really not a lot of room to be missing something else. So our practice is to be where we are without wishing for it to be different. And that anything that we do, we're turning our attention inward, or we're turning our attention to the real inner awareness of what we're doing instead of the doing. And that is a doorway into that place of meditation, because it's not an up, it's not a down, it's not a reaction. It's full absorption. So you can do this in a state of boredom, when you're in between the extremes, the highs and the lows. It's a perfect time, perfect place. Don't run from it. Run inward if you have to run anywhere. But this is the practice, is to repeat over and over again to deepen your awareness so much so that you become absorbed in this moment. You don't wish for anything else. So that's how you know your own soul. You become absorbed in it inwardly instead of trying to project it outwardly. So practice being bored. Close the sound of Om, like you mean it. Attention on the third eye, deep breath in. And sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. Just a heads up, this Sunday I am subbing for Linda for Yin. So if you want to come hang out with me on a Sunday morning, 8 a.m., subbing her Yin class. Also, Sarah and I are going to be teaching a workshop in March on the pelvis and bridging or using yogic tools and somatic experience tools for opening up pelvis and therefore all of the emotional stuff that is attached to our pelvis. So if you're interested in that, details I think are up on the website already, but if they're not, they will be soon. If you have questions, you can ask either of us at any point. But eyes open, because fun things are going to happen. So